Hi everyone, my name's Christine and I'm one of the founders and admins from PSSM and MFM Awareness, and today we're going to be talking all about PSSM2. We're going to be explaining what PSSM2 is, explaining the different variants of PSSM2, explaining the symptoms of PSSM2, the breeds affected by PSSM2, whether PSSM2 is hereditary, which is the current debate, and how to manage the PSSM2 horse. Let's begin. So what exactly is PSSM2? PSSM2 is an umbrella term used for a group of muscle diseases that are associated with genes that make up muscle proteins. Muscle diseases are also more commonly known as muscle myopathies. Two of these muscle diseases include something called myofibrillomyopathy and recurrent exertional rhabdomyolysis. So what is myofibrillomyopathy? Myofibrillomyopathy, also known as MFM, is a degenerative muscle disease caused by a mutation in muscle proteins. Myofibrillomyopathy affects skeletal muscle and, in some cases, cardiac muscle. It causes muscle weakness, loss of muscle mass, and in cases where cardiac muscle is also affected, respiratory problems. Although there is no current evidence to show PSSM2 causes respiratory problems in horses, there are a number of PSSM2 horses with respiratory issues. What is recurrent exertional rhabdomyolysis? Recurrent exertional rhabdomyolysis, also known as RER, is a muscle disease caused by an alteration in muscle cell calcium regulation. Recurrent exertional rhabdomyolysis causes exercise intolerance in horses. However, symptoms can be brought on by stress. Horses with RER are often described as having an excitable temperament. How many variants are there of PSSM2? There are currently 6 known variants of PSSM2. These include P2, a likely variant of myofibrillomyopathy which affects the myotilin protein in muscles; P3, a variant of myofibrillomyopathy affecting the filamin C protein in muscles; P4, a variant of myofibrillomyopathy affecting the myoxenin protein in muscles; P8, a variant of myofibrillomyopathy. What this affects is currently disclosed. K1, a myopathy affecting the integrity of muscle. What this affects is currently disclosed. PX, a variant of recurrent exertional rhabdomyolysis affecting the CACNA2D3 gene that assists in folding and unfolding proteins in muscles. With up to 32 genes in horses, research is still very much ongoing into more variants of PSSM2. P5 and P6 have recently been discovered, but research is still in early stages. Can a horse be affected with more than one variant of PSSM2? Yes, a horse can have up to 1, 2, 3, or even all variants of PSSM2. Horses with multiple variants of PSSM2 are usually much more severely affected. Can a horse be affected with PSSM1 and PSSM2? Yes, horses can be affected with both PSSM1 and PSSM2. Usually, these horses are diagnosed with PSSM1 first, then PSSM2 afterwards, because the PSSM1 diet either does not work for their horse, or works for a while, then suddenly stops. Horses with both PSSM1 and PSSM2 have to be fed a hybrid type diet. Is PSSM2 hereditary? Yes, PSSM2 is looking without a doubt to be hereditary. The very first peer-reviewed evidence of PSSM2 being hereditary was brought to light in 2007 by Dr. Molly McHugh when she presented a pedigree of affected quarter horses related by descent from a common ancestor in her PhD dissertation. Related horses were then diagnosed with PSSM2 via muscle biopsy. Owners of PSSM2 horses have also been doing their own research into whether PSSM2 is hereditary. There are currently 2 databases containing test results and the pedigrees of PSSM1 and PSSM2 horses, many sent in by the owners of those horses themselves. These databases contain breeding details of horses who have tested both positive and negative for PSSM. The databases consist of our own PSSM and MFM Awareness database concentrating on UK and European horses, and the very first database started, known as Bridge Equine. Bridge Equine has over 305,000 horses entered, many with pedigrees dated back to before 1900. This includes pedigrees of affected and non-affected horses. Shirley and I, who run these databases, have no doubt that PSSM2 is hereditary. We are seeing the exact same patterns with certain bloodlines continually appearing in these two databases. In many cases, we are even able to pinpoint specific variants appearing in certain bloodlines. If PSSM2 is hereditary, then shouldn't every horse be tested before breeding? Technically, yes, but this is where it gets a bit tricky, and where arguments between owners and breeders often occur. Testing for PSSM2 via hair strand test has not yet been peer-reviewed, so many breeders do not believe in PSSM2 itself, its variants, or even the fact that it's hereditary, so it often causes conflict as us owners want breeders to test, and breeders won't test without the evidence to back it up. What does peer-reviewed mean? Peer-reviewed means an article written and put forward to any scientific journal. The article would be written by, in this case, the testing agency, and then be reviewed by several other experts in the field to ensure its quality before being published. Why isn't the PSSM2 hair strand test peer-reviewed yet? Because of the sheer vastness of it. Remember, PSSM2 is an umbrella term. It isn't just one single muscle disease like PSSM1. If this was the case, the peer review would have been done a long time ago. PSSM2 covers a range of muscle diseases, including MFM and RHR. It already has 6 different variants, with more being discovered, so each variant would have to be looked at individually. This is an epic task for scientists, but make no doubt, the research for peer review is being done. But it's something that is going to take time. There is currently a large-scale ongoing study being done on PSSM2 by the University of Minnesota. I strongly encourage any PSSM2 horse owner to participate in this study. Link to the study is in the description. What are the symptoms of PSSM2? Symptoms of PSSM2 are very similar to those of PSSM1, but can be more severe. Symptoms can occur before or after work. These include exercise intolerance, stiffness, tightness, losing top line or muscle wasting. The horse may even look underweight because of loss of muscle mass. Hard muscles, muscle spasms, sensitivity to being brushed, stroked or rubbed, tying up, also known as azoturia, ataxia, wobblers or coordination issues, looking tucked up or muscles looking sucked up to body, struggling to or in canter, lameness which is often unexplainable even after investigation, depression or aggression, unpredictability or lashing out without warning, struggling for the farrier, a stilted walk or rope walking, struggling walking up and down hills or a horse box ramp, respiratory issues like excessive heavy breathing or coughing while being worked, explosive behaviour and unpredictability, so bolting, bucking, rearing, bronking, lashing or kicking out, dark or bloody urine, sweating profusely after small amounts of work, lethargy, laziness or not working forwards when ridden, contact issues and feeling heavy on the forehand, feeling the cold or when the weather suddenly changes, camping out, which means standing out to pee but not going, displaying colic or laminitis-like symptoms, standing under themselves. What breeds are affected by PSSM2? Any breed can be affected with PSSM2. Some breeds it has been detected in so far are all types of warm blood, all types of cob, so Gypsy cob, Welsh Section Ds, American quarter horses, American paint horses, American miniature horses, Appaloosas, thoroughbreds, all types of Arabian, Hackneys, Iberian horses, native ponies, so Highlands or Dales ponies, Icelandic ponies, or draft horses. Is there a common age for horses to become affected with PSSM2? PSSM2 can strike at any age. The easiest way to describe it is like a cancer. There is no telling when it would affect horses. Some foals born with PSSM2 are affected severely with symptoms straight away and have to be euthanised. Yet some horses who have PSSM2 can have it remain dormant for years and show no symptoms. To suddenly get it kick in and start causing them issues later in life for no obvious reason. There are a number of PSSM2 horses who become affected with PSSM2 in their prime, from 7 to 13 years of age, but there is no real age bracket for PSSM2. It does not discriminate. How do I test for PSSM2? PSSM2 can be tested via hair strand test or a muscle biopsy, although a muscle biopsy will not tell you the specific variant they are affected with. It will only show if a horse has PSSM2 if they are severely symptomatic, as a muscle biopsy is like a photograph. It's a snapshot in time. The PSSM2 hair strand test costs around £250 and is available through Equisec for USA owners and CAG for the UK, Europe and the rest of the world, including Australia. If not all variants of PSSM2 have been discovered yet, what is the point in testing, as we could still be breeding from PSSM2 horses with undiscovered variants? Yes, this is true and a good point, but by breeding from horses clear of all current known PSSM2 variants, we can help eradicate the known variants at least, and when more variants become available for testing, we can then test these horses again and only breed from the clear ones of the new variants. It will be a long and gruelling process, but we can make a difference by starting now. Should a PSSM2 horse be bred from if they test positive? We, as a group of PSSM2 horse owners, say no, because PSSM2 is looking to be hereditary, and that means that just like PSSM1, the PSSM2 horses will still pass on the gene. If a horse tests homozygous for PSSM2, for example P4, they will 100% pass on the gene. If a horse tests heterozygous for PSSM2, for example MP4, they have a 50% chance of passing on the gene, but it is still too much of a higher risk to take. PSSM2 is not just a muscle disease, it can put a total stop to a horse's ridden career. A number of the PSSM2 variants are progressive, meaning a lot of these horses will get worse with age once symptoms start to show. Most PSSM2 horses have a successful early ridden career, but often end up unrideable or retired from competition because as the disease worsens, the horse becomes unable to cope with the demands asked of them. And just like with PSSM1, PSSM2 can be fatal. If a horse enters a bad type episode, they are at a severe risk of a heart attack. A number of PSSM2 horses have also been seen to develop ataxia, an incurable neurological disease that often leads to euthanasia. Can a horse test positive for PSSM2 and be unsymptomatic? PSSM2 can affect horses at any age, including old age, so it's impossible to say if a PSSM2 horse is unsymptomatic until the horse has died. The only time a horse can be said to be unsymptomatic is when the horse has lived an average lifespan and not shown any symptoms at all of PSSM2 its entire life, from the moment the horse was born to the moment that the horse died. Is PSSM2 manageable? Some PSSM2 horses are manageable by diet, but not all. For some PSSM2 horses, the diet makes no difference to them. These cases are often euthanised as symptoms progress at a rapid rate, making a horse become a victim of their own body. PSSM2 management is on a case-by-case basis. Some variants seem trickier to manage than others. and not all PSSM2 horses who are managed are able to return to ridden work. With all this in mind, we have listed below the very basics of the PSSM2 diet that seem to help in alleviating some or all symptoms in cases who are manageable. But remember, this is a management strategy and not a cure. Number 1. Feeding a protein source. Because a large number of the PSSM2 variants are muscle wasting diseases, feeding a protein source helps aid the horse in keeping muscle and top line. Protein is one of the biggest things that seems to help the vast majority of PSSM2 horses. Some horses need only a small amount of protein, while others need it by the mugful. Examples of great protein sources are pea protein, hemp seed, and chia seeds. Number 2. Feeding triaminos. Triaminos are the 3 essential limiting amino acids found in a horse's diet. By limiting, it means they are only found in the horse's diet in small amounts. These amino acids are lysine, threonine, and methionine. All of these amino acids are the building blocks of protein and can actually help protein be utilised better within the body. Triaminos are the second biggest thing that seem to help the vast majority of PSSM2 horses. Number 3. Feeding vitamin E. Vitamin E, usually found in lush pasture, helps repair muscles by stopping them leaking their contents into the bloodstream. Due to PSSM2 being a muscle wasting disease, some PSSM2 horses may require additional supplemented vitamin E to aid in their management. Number 4. Trying the PSSM1 diet. Some PSSM2 horses seem to respond well to being on the PSSM1 diet of low sugar and low starch, alongside the PSSM2 diet. Number 5. Grass or no grass. Grass seems to play a factor in PSSM2 management. Some horses do better on less grass, and some better on lots of grass. We believe the horses who do better on grass do so because of the additional protein content in grazing, so it's a case of experimenting and finding what works best for your horse. Number 6. Switching hay for haylage. Haylage has a higher protein content than hay, so is useful to feed to PSSM2 horses. Number 7. Suppling exercises. This only counts if the horse is completely managed and displaying no symptoms of exercise intolerance. If a horse is showing symptoms of exercise intolerance, any exercise will make them worse. But when a horse is managed, exercise can actually be of great benefit, aiding in further looseness of muscles and building strength. These are just the bare basics of PSSM2 management. For further information on the PSSM2 diet, it's a good idea to talk to other PSSM2 owners who have horses with the same test result as yours. You will be able to connect with these owners over at our Facebook group, PSSM and MFM Awareness, or alternatively, discuss with an equine nutritionist who has experience with PSSM2. Experience with PSSM2 is paramount, as it's a totally different muscle disease to PSSM1 and will need to be fed accordingly. And that concludes our video on what is PSSM2. We hope you found this video helpful and that you now have more of an understanding on what PSSM2 is. We will be following up this video over the coming weeks with videos on each of the PSSM2 variants to help you understand PSSM2 even further. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, join our Facebook group, follow us on Instagram, and check out our website for all things PSSM, MFM and RER. Thank you for watching.